Hello and welcome. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most foundational and powerful programming languages ever created, C++.
I mean, really think about it for a sec. The incredible graphics in your favorite video game, the web browser you're probably using to watch this, even the very operating system running your device. How do they all just work? Well, a huge part of the answer lies in the code they're built on. And trust me, that is not an exaggeration. C++ is one of those invisible giants of our digital world. It's the absolute bedrock for so many of the tools we just take for granted. We're talking about everything from the user interfaces on our computers to super high-performance applications that demand serious speed and power. So what is it exactly? Well, at its core, C++ is kind of like a special kind of bridge. It's what we call a middle-level language, and this means it has the power to speak in terms that are really close to the computer's hardware, the low-level stuff, while also being understandable enough for us humans to write and manage complex ideas, the high-level stuff. That dual nature, that's its superpower. To really get a feel for any language, you have to start with the basics. So let's zoom in a bit and look at the traditional first step for any programmer, getting the computer to say hello. So this right here, this is the classic Hello World program. Now, I know it might look a little cryptic at first, but think of it like learning your very first full sentence in a new language. Every single piece has a specific meaning, a specific job to do. And once you get the grammar down, a whole new world just opens up. So how does this whole thing work? Let's break it down. Think of it like a short recipe. First, every recipe needs its tools and ingredients, right? That's what that #InCludeIOStream does. It tells the program to go grab a standard toolkit for handling input and output. Next, you need the official start of the instructions. That's the int main function. It's like the starting pistol. From there, it's just one simple command, count, which you can remember as character output, tells the computer to print hello world to the screen. And that return 0 at the end, that's just the program politely saying, hey, my job is done and everything went perfectly. Awesome. Now that we've seen a program in action, let's look at the basic building blocks it uses. I mean, how do programs actually remember and work with information? Well, that's where variables come in. A variable is pretty much what it sounds like. It's a named container for information. When you create one in your code, you're basically telling the computer to set aside a little piece of its memory and slap a name on it so you can find it again later. It's really just like putting a label on a box before you store something inside. But here's the thing, not all boxes are the same size or shape. C++ is very specific. It needs to know exactly what kind of information you plan on storing. So are you storing a whole number? You'll use an int for integer. A number with a decimal point? That's going to be a double. Just a single letter? That's a char. Or a simple true or false value? That's a bool for Boolean. Choosing the right data type is absolutely crucial for writing good, efficient code. Okay, so we've seen the syntax, we've seen the basic data types, but to really get C++, we need to understand its core philosophy, the big idea that organizes everything. And that's all about thinking in objects. This big idea is called object-oriented programming, or OOP for short. And instead of just writing a long list of instructions, OOP lets us model our programs around things from the real world, what programmers call objects. It's an amazing way of organizing complexity, and it all starts with something called a class. Now, a class isn't the object itself, not at all. Instead, it's the blueprint. It's the master plan that defines what a certain type of object is going to look like and what it's going to be able to do. It's the recipe, not the cake. And this example right here really makes it click. A class is the general concept of a dog. It defines that a dog has a name, it has a breed, and that it can bark. But an object is the instance of that class. It's not just any dog. It's your dog, Fido, a specific, real thing that you created from that blueprint. So every single object that's created from a class has two key parts. It has states, which is just the data that describes it, and it has behaviors, which are the actions it can perform. So let's stick with our dog example for a second. The states of your dog Fido would be his data. His color is brown, his name is Fido, his breed is a Labrador. The behaviors are the actions he can do, like wagging his tail, barking, or eating. See? This way of thinking lets programmers build really complex systems out of simple, understandable, and reusable parts. Okay, so we've gone from a simple hello world all the way to the philosophy of objects. Let's zoom back out and look at the big picture. Why, after all these years, is C++ still so incredibly important? Well, it all comes back to that core idea from the beginning, that C++ is a middle-level language. And this is why that matters so much. By operating really close to the hardware, that's the low-level part, it gets incredible speed and efficiency. It basically strips away the extra layers between the code and the machine, which translates directly into raw performance. And that performance is exactly why it's still the king in certain areas. You need to write code that talks directly to your graphics card? That's C++. Building a AAA video game engine where every single millisecond counts? C++. Powering massive servers that handle millions of requests a second? Again, C++. It's the go-to tool when speed isn't just a nice feature, it's an absolute requirement. So ultimately, it's a trade-off, right? C++ gives up some of the hand-holding and simplicity of other languages in exchange for raw power and control. It gives the programmer a seat right next to the hardware, and that allows for fine-tuned optimization that other languages just can't touch. It really makes you think, doesn't it? From the operating systems we use every single day to the games that are constantly pushing the boundaries of technology. C++ is that silent, powerful engine humming in the background. It's a language that proves that sometimes, to build the future, you need a tool with deep, deep roots in the very foundation of computing itself.